What's that mouth? It's just your boy laughing Zelmae, looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy. And it's Thursday. I'm with the boys and it's just a fan. So today, I want y'all to understand today, we have a simple topics. We have two simple topics. We're going to talk about tier list, and I'm finna nominate somebody into a tier list. I don't know if Montay gonna enjoy it. Well, but I'm gonna nominate him to my S tier list, which I don't normally do, and then we're gonna discuss our differences in tier list and why somebody's in this tier list. And most time it's different because we're different personalities, we're different people. So, and it's all over wrestling. I like to make my S tier list exclusive and bring a bunch of different avenues into it. So I'm gonna explain that once we get into it. But today we have, to both of them to my left right now, we have Montay. How you doing today, Montay?
What's up, your boy Monray, representative of the Broke Ugly Dudes on YouTube, back in the building, aka Mr. Buy the Merch himself. I have to apologize to all the audience right now for the destruction of the friendships that may happen over the course of this show. It has been an honor and a privilege to work with this organization. And, sometimes bridges must be burned for the betterment of, our self-worth, self-being, and our mental ability. So, all that stuff I just said, it don't matter. Let's get ready to rumble.
And to the farthest left over there, we have the friendly neighborhood scumbag. Or friendly hood scumbag. We don't, whichever one he wants to be called.
Whatever's clever. You already know. It's the local neighborhood scumbag coming to you live from the 765 and ready to waste your time. We talking wrestling, so you know it's going to get problematic. I'm always there to argue on Twitter later. Just remember that, people.
Afro Cummy 765. We out here.
Yeah.
So I explained to everybody what we doing. We talking about S tier, and I want to finally do this because I probably ain't did this in 8 years. Well, probably 5. But I'm nominating Roman Reigns into my S tier. After it took me it was very hard to do it. And I'm gonna explain to everybody why, because this is why he did it. He was part of a S tier faction that everybody loved. It was probably one of the most beloved factions there was outside of maybe DX and NWO. Not only that, his tribal chief.
I get a kitten.
Is literally selling on the level of all the stars. It is literally selling on John Cena level as a heel. He is not only that, he got the statistics, which probably my least caring about, but he got it. He need that to be in my S tier too. And not only that, he has probably some insane rivalries. From the Braun Strowman rivalry he had, which was epic. I'm not finished with you yet. I promise you, if Braun came back right now and said, I'm not finished you while Roman Reigns was there, I would pop, Tor.
I bet you. I'm sure you would.
I'm not finished with you. Like, a truck finna get thrown off.
Yeah, he's finna flip a semi.
To the Uso feud, I see a lot of people saying Kevin Owens, one of his favorite feuds is with the Roman Reigns last man standing feud.
That was a good one early on.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, they kind of tapered off later, but he's reaching all the criteria I have. And it's not even like a personal favorite list. This is probably like just my tier list if you ask me who belongs at the top of wrestling. And
doing it.
Yeah, and I literally listed, he's not an S tier wrestler, but he's really good. So
he is.
So like everything, Like he checks, like I'm always a check all boxes type person to put you in my S tier, even if I like somebody more than I like someone else. But I'm willing to acknowledge, which is funny to say, acknowledge.
I was gonna say, no pun intended, or you gonna let it ride?
Yeah, but I'm willing to acknowledge when somebody is actually checking every box that I need to reach the S tier level.
And that's all he wants.
Yeah,
he just wants you to acknowledge him.
Yeah, so I'm inducting Roman Reigns into my my S tier list. It's so many wrestlers I actually make it in a weird way. Where I do like basically high end S tier, middle S tier. He a low end S tier now. He's not on the rock.
Okay.
He's not the.
So there's tiers to your S tier, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Torrey. I know probably 700 wrestlers, 800. So you gotta kind of like tier to. He's on the low end. It takes years to work.
My tiers are by country.
So to me, to get in that list, it took a lot of work, and you have to check every box, I think, to be a great performer to me. And some stuff, even if I don't like it, you gotta acknowledge it. You know what I mean? So today's topic is, since I want to do that for my personal, I'm not asking them their personal or nothing. I just want to know what the criteria, since I wanted to make sure I gave my criteria, even if it ain't not my favorite. Like I'm putting Adam Cole probably one of my favorite wrestlers there. Yeah. Orange Cassidy, I'm not putting them S tier just because they're my favorite.
Okay, I was about to say Orange Cassidy is nowhere near S tier.
No, Orange Cassidy ain't even A tier, but he's still one of my favorite. Don't matter. But I put my criteria. Yeah, he probably B tier than me. He upper B tier.
Okay, that tier keeps on dropping. You sounding less confident in old pockets.
Yo, man, it's because he got the gimmick that gets over, so I gotta put him in that. I'm gonna explain a little more in a minute. I'm gonna explain a little more to my S tier in a minute, but I'm gonna give these guys a chance to talk. And everybody know Torrey, so we're gonna let Torrey go next. How do you make your tier? Do you agree with it? How is your tier list made?
Roman Reigns, I don't know if I'd comfortably put him in my S tier, but he's definitely, he can get A tier off of the Shield. Just memories and moments from the Shield. He could get B or A tier. And I understand how people would classify him as an S tier. My S tier is super exclusive. I can't even lie. I got probably 5 wrestlers that I'd comfortably put into a S tier. And like 2 of them are Triple H and The Undertaker. So I mean, but as far as for me, my criteria, it's wide ranging. And most of it is based off of a very simple but intricate thing, and it's, can you pop me? Because there aren't too many, when you've been watching wrestling forever, there ain't too many moments that really get a genuine pop out of you, like a genuine, oh, there we go.
Yeah, I watched a lot of wrestling too. My grandpa made me watch Battlezone, dog.
If you can't, because one thing, I'm big on the in-ring. The in-ring psychology, that is, if you can tell a story in a match, it gives you a little bit of an edge for me, as opposed to if you're just really good in the ring, just technical wise, because there are certain nuances that people don't want to acknowledge in wrestling. Like when, just an example, back in the day when Cactus Jack was getting over as a heel, he would put people in these ridiculously long headlocks just to make the audience mad because it's slowing down everything. But the in-ring psychology behind him using those slow headlocks, and how he basically used a single boring wrestling move to make people go from cheering to boo him, the psychology behind that is just wild to me. That's why Mick Foley's he's another wrestler that I definitely put in S tier. For real, just based off of body of work, I don't think anyone would argue with Mick Foley being an S tier wrestler. But in-ring psychology is a big thing. Also, you gotta have some kind of skills on the mic. You can't, or because the manager is pretty much dead nowadays. Like the only decent managers in wrestling are like Alex Abrahantes. Like whenever he says Penta says, that almost pops me because it's hilarious. But I could see why you'd put Roman in S tier. Like I said, my S tier, you just gotta, as long as you got the in-ring psychology, but you gotta have it all to get into S tier. I feel like you gotta be good on the mic, you gotta be good in the ring, you gotta understand the in-ring psychology. You can't just be, the motions of the moves and you can do the moves like so much wrestling is nowadays. It's you can do the moves, but you gotta use the right move in the right place. Like you got to be firing on all cylinders for you to get into my S tier, like all, because it's exclusive. It's exclusive. Like I said, if you're not working at a Triple H level or a Mick Foley level or a goddamn Kazuchika Okada's automatically S tier. The Rainmaker is the Rainmaker. But yeah, pretty much you got to get into my S tier, you have to be good at everything. And you believe it or not, there's a lot of rappers. There's a lot of wrestlers that'll fall into that goddamn D tier real quick. A lot of rappers too. Well, I said that. A lot of rappers and a lot of wrestlers that fall into that D tier real quick, and people try to act like they're A tier or better. But yeah, I got a broad range to get into S tier. So yeah, you gotta bring it.
Yeah, I had Roman actually in B tier 2 years ago because I'm like, he can't talk on the mic.
See, you better than me. He went down to D tier after the Shield broke up there for a second. It was like
low B tier. I'm like, John Cena clown of you. You done went down to low B tier.
I'm like, hey, it's a promo, kid.
I'm like, okay. I get what they're trying to do. I see the potential because you got that look, which I actually put you up on my list. Like I take into account from a business perspective too. And the Torrey point, Roman does that too. He puts somebody in the headlock when a match gets hot and tell you, until y'all acknowledge me, he's like, he yells at the crowd every time, until y'all acknowledge me, we gonna sit here and lay on the floor.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's some good stuff. So I'm gonna explain a little more. I'm gonna explain because I think I gave y'all a small portion again of what my criteria is, but I'm gonna go a little more into it. But right now we're gonna let Montay tell us his thoughts and then give us what his criteria to be in, because we know he's a Kurt Angle fan.
How do you feel about Roman Reigns in S tier?
So to everybody out there, I feel as though Trevor came for me because he knew doggone well that there was no way in God's green earth that Roman Reigns is S tier as currently constructed. I'm so sorry to everybody in the world who may feel otherwise.
These are Montay's feelings and statements right now. He is choosing not to acknowledge the tribal chief.
I'm going to state why I feel that way. Now, I am not a Roman Reigns hater. I do feel as though Roman Reigns is A tier. I give him that. My reason is
okay. I'm surprised.
I'm not a Roman Reigns hater. Please don't get me wrong.
Be like, he's a C tier at best. I was like, yeah.
No. I have no problem with it. Now, like, no, back in the days of the Shield, I honestly would have said that. But now, no.
Really?
Like in the Shield days, I would honestly have said probably all three of them individually would have been like, C tier, singles, competitors, all that kind of stuff. None of them had any personality like that. But my reasoning for saying that he's A tier but not S tier is that Roman Reigns is currently benefiting from the lack of talent and ability that WWE has shown over the last year, roughly.
I disagree with that, and that's why I put him in the S tier, but I'm going to explain it a little bit more.
No, because I'm going to explain why I said, like, literally, WWE has literally put him to the point. Now, one, WWE has been trying to boost Roman Reigns for the better part of, 3-4 years? By giving
almost a decade
every A and S tier superstar they could get their hands on. And if you have to do that for a person to try to boost up their stock so much, it's a problem. Now, the other problem I would have to that is if I put him in S tier, I would also put him with other superstars that are just, I'll say, universally S tier. And I one's really got debated, like maybe Undertaker,
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, people like that. And Roman Reigns is just
Those
not
are guaranteed S tiers.
he's just not there. Like, there's no way I'm gonna put him there, because to me, to go to my S tier rankings are like legends and people that will lead and have left such a lasting effect on the WWE universe that they basically transcend just being a basic wrestler. Like, they almost have an effect on the arena to where, like, they're just more than just, this is just like a top tier wrestler, this is just like a top tier villain. No, like, they, for years and years consistently, they have been at the top of the line in whatever brand or identity or whatever they've created for themselves. Like, and Roman Reigns doesn't tick that box in any capacity. Whether I want to take it as him being a villain, a tribal chief, yeah, him being a tribal chief is a good persona and a good villain right now. Is it an S tier? No, because the S tier persona and tribal chief heel that he's going to get directly compared to is the only top tier heel that's probably in, I ain't gonna say the only one, but like the main one that'll be S tier, which is Triple H. He doesn't touch Triple H in any capacity, whether it be villainy, whether it be the groups, whether it be overall like ring presence, all that. No, Triple H is damn near hated to this degree, even now, for some of the personas and some of the refuse and fights he's had. Roman Reigns, to me, as a
JR got that one. JR you
like the one he like you look at Triple H and be like, Triple H has done some of the most dastardly things as a heel that people remember. It's like, Triple H, you are
he drugged his wife to marry her, yo. Come on now.
It's like you look at like the heel turn with Triple H crossed from Hunter Hearst Helmsley to Triple H when he married Stephanie McMahon and then they took over the WWE for 2 years. Like, no, like nothing that Roman Reigns has done up until now even compares to that in the heel front. Like, yeah, he's got a successful faction as the tribal chief. Yeah, cool. That's nice. And it's something that should have happened 4 years ago.
Should have happened
the
very true.
No, like, I'm not gonna give you S tier for something that you should have been able to, like, that's not necessarily his fault. It's more like WWE. No,
yeah, I was gonna say you can't put that on him.
No, it's not on him. It's just like, he's a victim of that. But no, it's not on him. But just, no, like, he has to maintain this level of dominance. And then my other problem, like I said, he's benefiting on, like, the lack of talent and scheduling and storytelling that WWE refuses to do now compared to, like, some of the other S-tier other people that have been able to do that for years. Perfect example. I would have a better argument and, like, more agreement with Trevor if he said Randy Orton was S-tier. Way more than
Randy Orton, okay, now that we're going to say that, Randy Orton is, in fact, in my S tier. I'm not even going to lie.
Because, like, it makes more sense for Orton. Orton has made his name and his heel name as a legend killer. And he has had some top-tier feuds that can compete with some of the best of them.
Randy Orton did.
Not to mention, he turned his initials into the most devastating move of all of wrestling, bro.
Combined with the fact, like, most of the S tier has had, like, barring some of the, like, permanent baby faces, some of them have had, like, reigns and storylines across multiple, like, divisions.
Decades.
Like Randy Orton has been, like, for example, to use Randy Orton as an example, he has been a successful babyface, heel, and has made multiple top-tier tag team, like, heels and storylines, like, RK Bro is just the most recent one. We all remember the freaking one he had with Edge and created the Concerto, which was a wonderful one for a while. They're
still using concertos in AEW to this day.
Like, starting off with that one, going back to the past one where he was a part of Evolution, started off like he's been a part of, like, some of the greater ones. And to me, Roman Reigns is just now putting his foot in the water in, like, some of the top tier things that can really get his name on, like, a Mount Rushmore S tier type of list.
You're saying,
like, Roman Reigns,
you're saying he should be S tier, just not yet.
Yeah, it's not now. For me, Roman Reigns, this is his first persona that's a success. Like, everything he's had prior to the Tribal Chief, has basically been a failure when it comes to marketing him, when it comes to his persona and everything. It's basically been a failure.
I'm gonna say Solo.
Since the Shield broke up, it was a big
his entire solo career has been trying to work him over in the wrong in the wrong vein. And so now, basically, within the last year, he's really like, okay, now we got Roman Reigns as he should be. And it's just like, I'm supposed to put him in S tier for finally getting to the spot where your career as like a top tier WWE person can start. No. You're too early for that.
I'm gonna explain to you why I shot him up and why I want to have this discussion, because I know everybody gonna attack me. And the opposite of Montay point, he doing this at a time where there's nobody else. To me, that's hard to create a feud when you don't have nobody. To create a feud with your cousin, who is not even considered to be on that level, but to make it memorable. So you see what I'm saying?
That's true.
Triple H had the luxury of going against the Stone Cold and making something memorable. Who is Roman Reigns Stone Cold to go against to make something memorable? No, I have to take a guy who has lost 10 in a row matches or have had 15, thanks to the stupid Vince booking, 15 disqualifications in a row, and I have to make you care.
Distraction City.
Yeah, so Triple H is fighting Stone Cold, who is S tier. Yeah. The Rock, which is S tier. Roman, like, you have to make that dude seem important.
Okay, I see what Trevor's saying though. The people that we have in S tier currently probably were on S tier rosters.
Yes. So like, okay, oh my God, Shawn Michaels going against Ric Flair. Holy, I'm ready for this match. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Okay, now we got to do some work. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now we got to do some work. Okay. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the 20th time in a row. How are we going to make this story unique?
Hey, I'll give him that. For a match that had already happened a couple times before, the Tribal Chief has made it feel new. I almost forgot for a second how many times we had seen Roman Reigns face Brock Lesnar.
Fight like in 3 WrestleManias before this.
They fought at the WrestleMania with Seth Rollins interfered. And then I think they fought again at WrestleMania where Roman won again. If I remember.
And somehow he made me care about a rivalry that I've seen 1,000 times. I'm like, you know how much work you have to put in the WWE.
Like, see, now I'm torn when you put it like that. I'm sort of torn. Like, I don't want, because like I said, Roman is not in my S tier. I got a clap back for you. That's gonna undo. He comfortably fits in A tier for me. But I want to hear what Montay's got to say about this, because like I said, I'm sort of falling in between. I understand what Zell's saying. Like, I understand how you could put him in S tier, but at the same time, I'm more inclined to align with Montay, because it's sort of, you just got to the big stage, and I don't know if we set you up there on the shelf.
This is my point, though.
Just yet.
Raw dying in ratings. Raw is dying. SmackDown has held since he's been up. He's like, I'm keeping this show at 2 million.
He is. He's keeping butts in seats, as they would say. That's a fact.
I'm outside of Bray Wyatt. I'm the only person probably beside New Day and Bray Wyatt selling merch.
And now Bray Wyatt's gone.
Yeah, so you're like, yo, they keep getting rid of everybody that's popular, and not through me, and just giving money to me. I'm by myself. I have to make you care about me fighting somebody. You know I'm winning every match.
Because he had that rivalry. He had that rivalry with Daniel Bryan that was good.
Yeah,
I'll get that was an S tier rivalry.
Yeah.
Him and Daniel Bryan was S tier in my opinion. But
we might have to do that next. Like S tier rivalry.
I love Kevin Owens. But at that point, this is my point earlier. He done had like 15 disqualification finishes, and Roman made him feel important. And I'm like, this is where he should have been. And now he stayed sort of toward the main event since then.
He is.
So I'm like, okay. And you know he's winning. That's what makes it even harder. You know he's going to win, but somehow you still care. And I have to give him credit for that in character development. I have to give him credit for everything. And this is how my list worked, by the way. And I'm gonna let Montay respond. And I'm going to tell you how my list worked, because it's a tier list. And then we're going to talk about AEW. So Montay, your response real quick, just so then I can tell everybody why my tier list is. Yeah.
Oh, my response to that is real simple. It's like, if I got a garden and I got crappy vegetables all in the garden. But I got one person who could take the crappy vegetables and make it a decent soup. The soup tastes good because I ain't got nothing but crap all around it. Versus like if I go to a garden that got like a whole bunch of really good food in there, like a whole bunch of really good fruit, and I can take some fruits out of that all of them are really good and some of them still stand out. The second garden fruit that stand out mean a lot more and are worth a lot more than the one that just makes something out of some crappy ones. So I mean that to say, like, Roman Reigns looks so much better because they've surrounded him with so much crap versus if not all respect to all the wrestlers or whatever, but like none of them are on the star ranking level anywhere close to Roman Reigns.
We just gonna say that. We gonna say that's the WWE fault, so we ain't gonna blame the wrestlers.
Yeah, that's WWE fault. But I'm like, it makes a good versus. Like to go to Triple H, for example. Yes, he was fighting The Rock, Undertaker, like Kane, and all those. But the fact that he was still able to make a name for himself on an S tier level still speaks to how good of a character and how good of a role and everything that he was able to do. And I'm not going to reward Roman Reigns for looking good out of crap. Like when he would look so much better if you actually put him compared to some other stars that was worth something. Like I can't do that. Like everything that's around Roman Reigns right now, like literally, we went through the roster of SmackDown like a few weeks ago. The entire roster is basically crap, except for like two people. The entire roster is crap, and they moved everybody that's worth
again. WWE fault. We're not gonna blame Ricochet and all them. They are amazing.
That's WWE fault. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna reward Roman Reigns for being S tier when he's literally surrounded by nothing above B tier, and I'm like, no, like, there's arguably only a couple B tier people on the entire roster. But I can't do it. I can't do that. It just doesn't even make sense. It's like he looks so much better and he looks so good and the tribal chief is selling so much. Not to mention the merch is selling because compared to John Cena and all the rest of them in the past, he has way better like technological advances to sell his merchandise. So like that's not even gonna be a nod I'm gonna give to him. Like it's just like you're just born in like a time where like you're better than feature. So you have more access to this gonna sell more. I got you on it. But no, like tribal chief looks good because there's no other good faction or nothing else to compare it to. So it's gonna be the best because it's just nothing else there.
Well, to Montay's point, he talked about big fish, small pond versus big fish, big pond with a bunch of other big fish. But my argument to his garden thing is when everybody if you had that one good vegetable, right? Would you, if you had a bunch of bad vegetables and it was only one good one, would you call that a success?
Nope.
You wouldn't call it a success. The Roman Reigns show is the number one wrestling show on TV. And by the way, when he first came, Raw was the number one show, and Raw failed that much.
Yeah,
that's because WWE do not know how to cultivate the garden equally. If they would have cultivated equally, we wouldn't have these problems.
Tell me right now you wouldn't want to see the tribal chief versus the game in a river.
Versus the game?
Not right
game.
now.
Yeah, not the one right now.
I'm not talking about that's King of Kings now. We're talking about the game. We're not talking about King of Kings. We're talking about the game.
Oh, the game?
Yeah.
Boy, Triple H would murder this man.
You wouldn't want to see it though. It would be an epic little promo battle and everything. It just
see this is the thing that like lets me look at that and lets me automatically be like Roman Reigns ain't top tier. I would 100% look at that rivalry and expect Triple H to be like Triple H is gonna outthink that man, like just in character. He'd outthink that man. He'd manipulate one of his servants to come over to the other side, and then would possibly be willing to pay somebody to run this man over and still do all that before they first match.
Technically, Roman Reigns ran people over himself, so he don't need nobody else to do it.
That is true. Roman Reigns be running over people all on his own.
And his uncle ran over people during that era too. So his uncle already ran people over, so he could get Rikishi.
But and he did, like, and his uncle did it for his cousin.
We going.
Yeah, his uncle did it for his family. So bloodline been strong for him. I did it for the Rock.
Boy.
I did it for the Rock.
Oh, bro, I'm telling you.
I did it for the Rock. He always had that potential, but unfortunately, he fell into, like I'm saying, a lot of the other WWE people fall into where they book them so weirdly that you tend to hate them, and that's on the E. Ricochet should be booked better. A lot of these people should be booked a lot better.
Ricochet shouldn't have came to the WWE though.
Yeah, but
NXT should have been booked so much better.
But Again, Vince is on.
Yeah,
Vince is more,
Trevor, defend 2.0 winning over the black and gold, nigga.
Yo, listen. All 2.0 might be gone. I mean, all black and gold might be gone soon. So you got to put over the people that gonna stay.
Help.
Hey, that's the rule. By the way, I was so hyped when I saw that move DIY hit. I got hyped. I popped at Rebel Heart too,
bro.
When they did DIY,
I did too. As soon as I heard that, it was lit.
So I was hyped, and I actually got excited when I thought they won. But I give them the credit for doing something though. I'm glad they didn't make Brun like super kick out of both of them. So, because if he would have kicked out of DIY, I would have got upset,
bro.
That would have ended the night.
And kudos to him for the timing on that spear, bro. To hit it as Ciampa brought him up for the fucking fairy tale ending.
I got so scared he was gonna hit the miss hit wrong, and it timed perfectly. That was a good match. Them young boys showed me a little something. Hopefully they can. Hopefully they can build off of it. Get a little more confidence going into this new era, and let's see where Johnny Gargano goes. So I'm looking forward to it. Even though, as me and Torrey has talked about, we don't know how he fits into everything because it's gonna be real. One thing I want AEW.
I don't know where Johnny Gargano is gonna go.
One thing I worry about AEW is you keep signing people, and then all of a sudden you realize you don't have nothing for them, and they just end up just doing random stuff.
Yeah, and
nobody can watch them no more. So I'm like, no, that scares me because after a while, just keep signing top people. You're gonna be like,
that's what happened to TNA.
You know what I'm saying? You keep signing people. You only got so many out. You only got 3 hours of TV, and I'm pretty sure these big names ain't just gonna go to dark. Now I like Dark and Elevation, by the way, for the young people. Cora Jade was on there.
Hey, Dark and Elevation are good.
Yeah. But the big name people ain't gonna want to be on there.
They're good for developing talent, anyways.
But you ain't gonna sign an $800,000 to put a dude on dark. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So sooner or later they might be a problem. So PK, we're gonna talk about them right now. As a matter of fact, good transition.
Good transition.
Yeah. So basically, Tony Khan. The ratings on Dynamite are down. I think it actually hit.
Wait.
Torrey, it hit less than 900,000, didn't it? 890,000?
Yeah, they dipped to like 883, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that was the Fast Nationals for it. Which is that is bad because they usually stay right in that pocket of 900K to $1 million. So outside of the key demo line, they're trying to push. Oh, but we're higher ratings in the key demo. Miss me with your key demo talk. Let's talk about how many people at large are watching it.
And I'm gonna address this, and I'm gonna let. Oh no, I gotta tell y'all how my rating list go, and then I'm gonna address that. So I forgot.
Look, he's like, let me try and defend Roman Reigns and S tier real quick.
No, I'm not even defending. I'm just telling you how it works. High and S tier is people that culture changes. People that change the entire culture of not just wrestling, just outside. Like people wanted to be. If we do high S tier faction DX, bro, how many people did a cross chop to their teacher? So like how many people start wearing Gucci clothing because a Rock would come up in a Gucci
$500 shirt.
Yeah, and then after the Rock did it, that Gucci shirt cost a lot more. $500 after that.
Yeah, it went up.
Yeah, so culture changes. Mid tier would be people that change wrestling for me, which would be probably the Triple H's era. So that's the mid S tier. Low S tier is people that move the needle. I know a lot of AEW fans hate that. We're gonna move on it, but do that needle continually move? Yeah, does that needle actually move, or do it just move a little bit and then come back? Roman Reigns, the reason I put again, he got to be able to do a lot of things well, but he also had to be able to move that needle. High A tier is top tier wrestlers and people who might not move the needle but can keep a show and can be the leader of a show. That was my A tier go. B tier just like they really good at something. You know what I mean? And then C tier is just like Trey. Like B, like, oh, this guy is an excellent promo. And that's his
iffy in the ring.
Yeah, so that's B tier. And then, like I said, A tier is people that's really good at a lot of things, but like really good at wrestling, maybe decent at something else. And then, like I said, S tier is needle movers and culture changes and all that stuff. So that's how my list go. And back to the AEW talk. Torrey. Then we're gonna go to Montay, so Montay can get a little more on it. What did AEW, did they do something wrong? What are they doing wrong? I love the show. I know I sound like I don't love the show, but I love AEW, so I'm really critical of this dumb thing they do. But I'm gonna let Torrey talk. Torrey, what did they do wrong?
I feel like a lot of it's got to be because, like I said, I've noticed on a lot of these weeks that the ratings have been down. They've put on good shows, and anyone who knows me knows I will talk bad about AEW. I don't like Tony Khan. I think he's a mark. I think he's using his money to get dang. He's playing wrestling booker. It's his dream, and he's got the money to fulfill his dream. That's all well and good, but pay somebody to book your wrestlers because your job's lacking. But I feel like that's a lot of it because they've got the talent. That's the thing. They have the talent and they have the wrestlers to easily put on a show that should draw a million viewers in the weekly ratings. Like, but the thing is, I think the last time that they've done a million like consistently are those few weeks after CM Punk debuted. You know what I mean? And that's arguably one of the biggest returns in wrestling history. I mean, so I feel like a lot of the low ratings fall on Tony Khan's booking. I feel like you can have the best wrestlers in the world, but if you're not putting them in storylines that are captivating people, what's the point? Like I said, me and you were talking about beforehand. I'm ready for this. Daniel Bryan should beat Adam Hangman Page for the belt coming up. Like, he should take the strap off of him, and hopefully he does. Because Hangman's just, I mean, I'm sure it was and I know it was a decent story, the lead up to Hangman being the champ. But I think now that he's champ, I think we're starting to realize that there's a lot better options than old Hanger. There, when you've got your Bryan Danielsons, your CM Punks, your Kenny Omega's out with an injury, but when he comes back, you've got Kenny Omega, you've got Adam Cole. I mean, you've got wrestler upon wrestler that is top tier. But the storylines you're putting them in obviously aren't translating to ratings. So I feel like when it comes to AEW, they've got all of the material for a highly viewed wrestling product, but they don't have the booking. They don't have the story to tell with the wrestlers. Like, I see what Tony Khan's trying to do with Bryan Danielson right now, and it sounds good on paper. Like the Dark Order or Hangman's friends, and he's taking his time and he's beating each member of the Dark Order in their hometown, which is a testament to Daniel Bryan, how he's managed to come in and effortlessly go from face to heel. Like Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him, he is an S tier wrestler, in my opinion. And the fact that you can have access to wrestlers like Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole and CM Punk, even with the newer stars they have coming up, your Jungle Boys and your Darby Allins, I firmly believe Darby Allin, before his career is over, could be an S tier wrestler for me before it's all said and done. You've got MJF, the man who's going to start a bidding war in 2024. Like, and let's be honest, he probably will. When any wrestling company would be lucky to have MJF. MJF is a future S tier, in my opinion. You've got all the makings. So the only reason I could find why the ratings would be suffering is that people don't care about the stories because it's not the talent at this point. So, long story short, Tony Khan's booking is garbage, and that's why the ratings are low, in my opinion.
I'm gonna give my opinion. We're gonna let Montay talk about what he's listening to. My thing is he books to his audience, which is a good thing. But your audience is limited.
Yeah, there we go.
So
very true.
Like
you're trying to expand the fan base, not cater to your core.
And every rapper goes through this, and every entertainer goes through this, where you get a big fan base, and then once you start trying to expand, some of your fans get a little upset over some of the things you do. You might not fully go out, but they're like, why did you do it? But that's the only way to grow. Booking to 800,000 people will get you to go from 1 week 1.38 million back to 800,000.
Yeah.
Booking to the people who won't. People showed up to see CM Punk. People showed up to see Adam Cole. People showed up to see Daniel Bryan. Those are I think a lot of them were probably WWE
using CM Punk.
They could be. I heard somebody else say that. WWE, people know them from WWE, so you got a big audience from WWE that came over. Yeah, they saw it. They're like, oh, I know these people. I care about them. And then you did stuff with them that at the beginning that people might not have cared about. You did. Yeah. You gave Daniel Bryan the first 30 minutes of the third AEW Dynamite after he came in. You gave him that 30 minutes. Yeah, a lot of people watched
time on the draw with Kenny. That could be match of the year, though. I want to say that though. Let's not take anything away from that. Even though it went to a 30-minute draw, if you're talking about just pure wrestling, man.
Yeah, that'd be it between Walter too.
Match of the year candidate.
It'd be between him and Walter. That match and Walter. That'd be up there.
Yeah, that you already. Anyone who knows my wrestling preference already knows that I am a fanboy of both Walter and Ilya. Shout out to Ilya for he just defended the NXT UK title against I can't remember the dude's name right now, but they had a banger of a match. So yeah.
So you got that. But again, that match probably had a lot of eyes on it. But then after that match went off the air, people are like, what? And AEW has this thing where they put everybody that the casuals care about at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
And then you put
Cody that early.
And I don't want to diss Cody Rhodes. Everybody here know how I feel about Cody Rhodes. But you put Cody Rhodes at every main event.
Garbage.
You put Cody Rhodes at every main event, and people are like, I don't care about this dude. I know we know
he got booed in his hometown, bruh.
By the way, y'all gonna stop telling me that you got to show respect because he went through a flaming table. I'm like, no, bro, it was stupid. If you changed the camera angle, I would have been cool. I would have been cool if you showed me the camera angle where I didn't see Andrade reverse it and land on his feet. If you didn't show me that, I've been okay with it.
The only way they saved this is if Brandy turns heel on Cody. And she set the table on fire to hurt Cody and not Andrade.
It's gonna be people in the comments say I'm a hater for that because you didn't care when Mick Foley got thrown off the table through stuff. They inflicted damage to him. He didn't do it to himself. Where the other dude completely misses the table, and y'all supposed like he did that for our entertainment. I'm like, bro, it's still. I already suspend my disbelief.
He did that for his ego, not our entertainment.
I suspend my disbelief for wrestling already, right? I'm a fight fan. I'm a UFC fan.
As you should.
I'm a boxer fan. I gotta suspend disbelief. But when you tell me that a man jumped through a table and the other dude missed, I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief that much to just pretend like I didn't see it.
Don't forget, Andrade landed on his feet after that.
Yes. Like, once he landed on his feet, that threw me out. And if the camera angle was different, that's why I always say if the camera angle was different, I would have been all right with it. And I would be like, that's dope. But I saw him lay on his feet. Right. I cannot suspend my disbelief that much. Montay, I cannot suspend my disbelief that much.
Jericho and the crash pad.
Montay, the dude. Okay, Montay, he set a table on fire, Montay. He got on the top rope.
Okay, you gotta set it up. He's trying to hit the move. He is trying to hit is a reverse suplex.
Yeah.
So obviously you know what a regular suplex is. Hand over the shoulder, back going towards the. He's trying to hit him with a reverse one. So he's got his arm over Andrade's face. So he's bringing the front of his body down over this burning table. That's the setup here, which I think was the first mistake. He was trying to be too fancy.
Yeah, they set the table on fire and Torx. Oh, he set the table on fire. He does the reverse suplex, except for they show an angle where we see he clearly lands on his feet and flips backwards. And Cody Rhodes, the only person that goes to the table. And then we expect to believe that Andrade is the one that's supposed to take this pin. I'm like, no. Yeah. This man went through a I'm like,
we literally watched him land on his feet and then drop backwards.
He reversed it. He flipped out.
Yeah. Like he should have, bro. If they would have had Andrade win that match, they might have got some, bro. It would have been completely believable.
That's what I'm saying. I already suspend my disbelief for this. Now you're telling me to do something impossible. You making me making up fantasy storylines that didn't happen. Like, I am not gonna tell you this man did not reverse this move just because he wasn't supposed to. I'm not gonna make it up.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
bro. It was just bad.
Oh my gosh.
He literally landed on his feet as Cody was going through this flaming table.
So it's like a reverse suplex that he landed on his feet on. So basically, you're telling me I got to suspend my disbelief because it was supposed to happen another way, but that's on production. I don't know if that's on production. So if they would,
I think that's on Cody, because Cody could have picked a different move, other than a more visually pleasing move than a reverse suplex through a. But I think it was just supposed to, because he couldn't really do a crossroads off the top rope. You know what I mean? So he was trying to still get the visual that he was sort of hitting his finisher from the top. But at the end of the day, it was just sloppy, and Andrade's a luchador, like a real luchador, so he's naturally just going. I completely believe that he was like, I'm landed on my feet, bro.
Yeah, and I'm not going to expect Andrade, and to me, the reason I say production, I'm not going to expect Andrade to lay on his face on fire. So,
nobody.
So he can flip out of it. I just don't need to see it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's where you take the I may complain about the WWE's random camera cuts now, because that stuff is like being on LSD in a nightclub, like just the flashes from picture to picture. God. But a different, they shouldn't have filmed that on the hard camera. Yeah. They should have switched to one of their moving cameramen. But Tony Khan's got this weird thing about staying on the hard cam in matches, and it takes away so much from the product, because you can only do so much without people seeing that there's cooperation, especially when the camera's right on you. Like,
you know, one thing I thought about when they did the Dark Order one a few years ago and the missed punches, I'm like, you should have had that WWE camera cut for this. It would have confused me so bad I wouldn't have noticed. But when you just on that hard camera, he just missing, you be like, what is this? What?
Yeah, it literally, like, bro, if anyone watching, like, and it was beautiful. Like, honestly, the fact that Andrade was able to land on his feet from that position,
it was cool,
bro. It was amazing on his part. Unfortunately, it was supposed to be a move that finished him off, not him. Like I said, they could have made us all. We wouldn't even be talking about this if Andrade would have done what he did and then just covered Cody immediately after that.
Yeah, because he landed through the table on fire, and everybody like Mick Foley was thrown through a table by the Undertaker on purpose.
Yeah,
it's not the same thing.
See, and if we're talking about like with fire, most of the time, these guys, if we look at the times fire's been used, like even with Kane. Sort of talking about Bray Wyatt's Fiend run, which was the most egregious use of fire ever. Most of the time when we see somebody get set on fire, it's usually an arm or they've got a shirt on. Yeah. Something. That's why I don't feel bad for Cody. You want to put somebody through a flaming table shirtless, that's what you get.
Shout out to the wax, though. Shout out to the wax. The wax helped a lot. Because it could have been bad he didn't have that wax on his back.
Yeah, but I think
I hate you can see the wax
honestly,
too, though. I hate that.
most of the time when they use that burn gel that they use though, usually there's a layer of fabric over it. So I feel like it didn't save him as much as it should because he got that gel on and then went and wrestled for 20 minutes.
But you
so
can
he probably
see it,
sweated
though,
a lot of it off.
But you can see it too, and I was like, ah. But to me, that's
yeah.
But it's little things like that. People always this is the reason you don't want to get rid of the E, because if you get rid of the E, AEW make a lot less money from the company. When you're making a business plan, you want to make a plan talking about your competitor. If your competitor doing well, we're gonna try to get what they getting. Therefore, are you happy with that $2 million they getting now? Are you doing that? Because if we can get to what they getting, y'all be very happy. AEW does very well, by the way, according to TNT and TBS.
Oh yeah, So, I mean, as far as a startup company and like revenue streams and everything, they're doing really good. It's just
I'm just telling you, if you want AEW to stay AEW, at this point, you need to.
There's got to be the WWE.
You know what I'm saying? Because without when you do a business plan, you got a model that you show your competitor. If you're the number one competitor and your numbers are 890,000, you get a lot less money. Because you getting beat by Cougar Town at this point. You getting beat by Cougar Town.
Well, let's just. And when these TV re-sign deals come back around, they won't get as much money if the ratings aren't good.
Yeah, but if WWE there, you'll get more money because that's what you possibly.
Montay, I feel like if you watched AEW, you would probably appreciate it because it does have a lot of the wrestling is a lot more old school feeling, like Attitude Era feeling wrestling, as opposed to where the WWE
they don't do backstage stuff though, which another reason I think
they don't.
But no, see, that's my issue. That's my issue with AEW. Like when y'all was telling me, like, what do I think? My issue with it is I feel they need to separate themselves more from WWE instead of following WWE's blueprint. For right now, WWE's blueprint isn't good. Both of their shows are doing bad.
I actually think they do the opposite of WWE too much. It's not.
Like to me, it's still like more of the same. Like to me, they're like old school WWE, but they're still like WWE. Like to me, if you're gonna be old school WWE, do old school type of things. Like don't do halfway to be like we're still gonna do a bunch of like one-on-one matches, keep the story. No, if you're gonna do old school WWE, do old school WWE. Have Hangman and Sammy Guevara come out, talk smack, want to get into a match, and then Bryan Danielson, which don't get me wrong, I hate that name. Like if you're gonna do Daniel Bryan, just do Daniel Bryan. Like
that's his real name though.
No, I don't care. Everybody knows this man is Daniel Bryan. Just let his name be Daniel Bryan and be done with it.
Do it, Bryan. You gotta talk to Vince about that. That's an intellectual property thing. That's not a him thing.
Montay said Vince did right. That name was stupid.
Change his name. Don't switch. If you're gonna change his name, change his name. Like, do not do this halfway mess of Bryan Danielson. If you're gonna change his name,
that's his name.
Change his name. No, his name is Daniel Bryan. We know what his name is. You're not gonna do this to me today. You're not doing this today. We know what his name is. You're gonna change it to either something else entirely. Or is you gonna use Daniel Bryan? We're not gonna have this.
Montay said he did right. Change this stupid name. Your name is Daniel Bryan.
Anyway,
he said it was a simple change, but it made all the difference in Montay's eyes.
Like I'm just like you
are Daniel Bryan forever now. You cannot go back to your actual name.
I mean, we know he is, but whatever. Like to me, it's more like if y'all gonna do old school WWE. Do old school WWE because the current WWE is not like it was in the past anyway. Well, like, if you're gonna do like Hangman Adam Page, like Hangman Adam Page, Sammy Guevara, come out, talk smack, and be like, you know what? I'll challenge you for your title right now. Bryan Danielson comes out, nah, bro, you ain't getting it, and then all of a sudden, fine, then y'all get a triple threat match for the title tonight. Like waste some time because they have 2 hours, so you might well use everybody and branch this stuff out. Don't just be simple and be like simple. Oh, you don't even use your backstage anyway. So come on, now just go ahead and expand it while you have them out there. Make that triple threat match, and then at the end of the night, actually switch the title. Like do something that's actually gonna be memorable, and like something that expands the best of your 2 hours since you only have one show a week anyway. Do something memorable and actually make it like old school WWE where every week is unpredictable and makes you want to tune in. Versus now, it's relatively simple.
It is technically one show because they do the same show.
I do like that they don't script the promos in AEW, though. I like the fact that the wrestlers are allowed to do that because I feel like that's a big problem with WWE is the scripted promos. Like these writers that you have are not good at writing promos.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, sorry. They're not.
I ain't gonna lie.
Roman Reigns is getting over because he's not getting the writers anymore. It's just him and Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah, he said he
know
don't.
what I mean? And Paul Heyman's arguably the best promo.
Getting over because there's nobody else there to use that's worth anything.
I think he'll still get over. People like him, especially women. Women kids love him.
I would love him when counting women. I would love Roman Reigns better if he was on Raw.
He's got Paul Heyman in his corner, though, bro. And we can say what we want. Paul Heyman gets people over, bro.
No, he do.
And by the way, I want to actually, you do got to shout out Roman for this because he told Vince, I ain't coming back if I ain't doing my own thing because what you had me doing. We heard from John Moxley. John Moxley he said Roman came to me on that Daffy Duck promo and said, how am I supposed to make this look cool? And at that point, Dean Ambrose was like, the wink.
It makes sense because it makes sense like Vince been trying his ideas for like 4 years and it didn't work. When three WrestleManias don't work, bro, I'm sorry, something got to change. But when 3 WrestleManias don't work and 3 WrestleMania main events, when they don't work, something got to change.
That's Vince's fault. Everybody don't lose.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't blame Roman because, like, bro, you done give me 3 full main events at WrestleMania. You got people hating me because I beat The Undertaker and I won. Bro, no, something got to change.
Yo, they should have.
Yeah, but you gotta admit that Undertaker match was ugly. It was not. That was the match that showed you the Undertaker might be too old to be wrestling. That was the first.
It should have never happened.
The Undertaker.
It should. But then they doubled down on it, and we had DX versus the Brother of Destruction in Saudi Arabia.
That was terrible.
Bro, Kane's mask and wig came off in that match.
Yo, Goldberg almost killed Undertaker in Saudi Arabia.
He did. Goldberg almost killed Bray Wyatt in Saudi Arabia, bro.
I have so much wrong with
yo, Montay, WWE let Goldberg knock his head against the wall till he get a concussion. Walk out there.
And then go out and cut a promo after it. One of the when I want to laugh at something, I will still go back and watch that promo because it's so much funnier knowing that he is talking like that because he just gave himself a concussion from headbutting a wall before he came out.
Yo, Montay, he was bleeding across his head.
He was bleeding from his forehead.
But they came out bloody. And I was like, why he bleeding? And then he started talking. He was shaking his head like that.
I think that was everyone's collective thought before that promo. When he just came out and there's just a single line of blood going down his forehead, there's just a collective in the universe. Like, what?
Hey, Torrey, he started just mumbling and started grabbing his face.
Yeah, bro. Hey, them concussions ain't no joke, bro. He proved that firsthand, bro.
No, they not.
Yo, he came out that much. I'm crying. This dude came out, couldn't even talk. He was slurring words.
Bro, literally, bro, he sounded like he had been hitting the Henny countless hours.
But that's the problem I have with the AEW. My thing, it's certain things WWE does right that I think AEW should take. Whenever you do a business, it's certain things WWE does right that makes them function.
It can always be helpful to copy the goddamn competitor's business model to a certain extent.
Yeah, but you should still do your own thing. I feel like sometimes Tony Khan tries to do exact opposite of everything WWE does.
Yeah, he tries too hard. He tries too hard to be different. But
yeah, bro, backstage is my main memories. If you talk to a character, the main memories is backstage.
I've been getting roasted on Twitter, so I'm gonna help us out here right now. There are, regardless of what Tony Khan says, as I go back and look, there have been some iconic backstage moments because I had people they were on my head. They were like, man, how can you say that when we got this? And they did. They showed examples. They showed
a lot of
good. So maybe Tony Khan just wasn't thinking about the stuff that he had done but regardless, he did say that. So
yeah, I'm just talking about him. By the way, one of the coolest feuds we done had started backstage. Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. I had it ended early, so it don't feel like it meant nothing, but it was the coolest start.
Exactly.
It had
Shout out Lee Moriarty, though, man. Everybody hating on Lee Moriarty on Twitter, bro. That young black brother is the future of wrestling, bro.
Torrey, that storyline made so much sense. This man just went to sleep.
And now they done. That's the thing. They move on so quick that it's just a waste. Like, you could tell me we couldn't have ran Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk best 2 out of 3. And come on now.
Torrey, and the rivalry made sense from backstage, Torrey. It made sense.
If you want to be if you want to be old school WWE, then you gotta have best 2 out of 3.
Montay, this is the storyline how it started, right? Daniel Bryan put Eddie Kingston to sleep, right? In the ring.
Yeah.
He come backstage. CM Punk just watched the match. He was smiling. He wasn't necessarily smiling about that, but Eddie Kingston said, "What you laughing about?"
Yeah, he was in the middle of an interview with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, but he just seen it on TV, so he was like that. So Eddie Kingston like, "Oh, he laughing at me because it was on the TV." So I'm like, this storyline easy and it makes sense. Like, what you laughing at? It was good,
but shout out to Eddie Kingston though, one of the best promos in the game.
Yes, but it's little things like that you can use backstage to improve your show instead of having it like something.
He does. He does, even though he says he doesn't.
He does that. Some of the best thing he did was backstage, but even lately, I feel like he's doing it less. And he's doing it like.
Well, I don't know, because they had Dante Martin signing with Team Taz was a good swerve. Yeah, that was a good. I liked that. That was a good backstage segment. And Dante Martin, another young mixed brother that he's got the juice, man. They just gotta, like I said, Tony Khan's booking is what's holding back AEW because they've got all the talent in the world, regardless of how I feel about some of them. He's got game breaker talent. Like, he's got pull ahead in the race talent. He just doesn't have pull ahead in the race storytelling.
So,
man,
what's that, Montay?
Man, just make CM Punk the champion and be done with it, bro. Just go ahead and be done with it.
Torrey,
Montay, have you ever heard an MJF promo?
No.
Bro, I'm telling you, you go listen to this kid on the mic. He is only 24 years old. And, bro, he's got the microphone skills of like The Rock in '98. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not kidding.
Up, they're using CM Punk to boost him up instead of the other way around.
But see, that's the feud that I think we're slowly moving into. It is MJF versus CM Punk, which is going to be amazing.
I got a question before I go into what I think. Torrey, how do you like that MJF promo? Because a lot of people did not like that last MJF promo.
I think, okay.
They said he tried too hard.
As we all know, I have a dog, so I'm always I'm never going to be okay with somebody killing an animal.
Yes.
So I think
went wild.
But what we got to remember is that it's wrestling, and people have said far worse things than "I'm going to kill your dog." Never forget the Big Boss Man fed Al Snow his Chihuahua.
Bro, that was hilarious.
Saying MJF went too far by saying he was going to kill CM Punk's dog. I understand how that rubbed some people the wrong way, but bro, MJF is one of the last real deal heels that are even in the industry. And like I said,
we don't condone that, by the way.
He called it on the nose, bro. When he said he'll start a bidding war in 2024, I firmly believe that. Like I said, MJF is a future S-tier talent, bro. Like, he could be up there with Triple H, with Shawn Michaels, with The Undertaker. Like, bro, he could do it. Like, this kid he's next level. And the thing is, he's amazing in the ring, too. I think the best wrestling move of 2021, and it was such a waste, is MJF versus Sammy Guevara earlier this year. He hit Sammy Guevara with a tombstone pile driver off the second rope. And when I tell you that was one of the most impactful moves I've ever seen, like, it's one of those moves where the crowd was hype and it looked so bad that everyone went quiet. Like, it was amazing. And I always bring it up because it was a match ender. It should have ended the match. And they had Sammy kick out of it. And it ruined that match for me. Like, MJF is next level, and if Tony Khan doesn't utilize that, he is going to have a phenomenal career in the WWE before it's all said and done.
Vince like people that talk crazy too, so Vince would 100%.
Bro, MJ,
I'm serious,
Montay. If you go listen to any promo this guy cut, he is for real a heel. Like, bro, he be any low shot you can think about talking about somebody, he hits it, and bro, beautifully. Like he's the last. I firmly believe he's one of the last heel wrestlers that has real heat. Like the crowd really doesn't like him. Like they really want to see him lose. Like they're really angry when he wins.
Well, we not counting Cody Rhodes because he's not a heel.
Yeah, exactly. So it don't count. If Cody went heel, now I don't even want to get into that. Cody Rhodes thinks he's Triple H, though, so he's going to keep on living that delusion. Maybe he'll get lucky and have a game-changing heel turn at some point.
He going to bring out that golden shovel and the sledgehammer.
That explains it.
Yo, he brings out a sledgehammer and a golden shovel every time he fights him. I'm tired of this Triple H references.
Hey,
if you knew
it was so cheap. He pulled out that sledgehammer and then threw it away to get out the shovel. Like, I mean, if we didn't hate Cody, that would have been a cool spot.
I'm like, bro, we get it. We get it. You love Triple H, bro. We get it, Cody.
Don't step left. The only step left is him to go and get a bottle of water and spray it in the air. That's the only left.
I think he did that. He had the crown. He hit the crown with a sledgehammer. I'm like, bro, we get it, bro.
I was saying he crushed he broke the throne with the sledgehammer. And
I'm like, bro, we get it. You love Triple H, bro. We understand.
Man, forget it, man. Just CM Punk and almost for champions. I said what I said. I mean, that.
All right, but my biggest problem, I'm gonna say,
almost could be an amazing.
Yeah. Undertaker gave him credit and said he could be the next Andre the Giant if they do him right. I'm like, that's a lot of credit, Undertaker. Undertaker said it.
Bro, but that makes me worried because the last time Undertaker said that, he was like, Bray Wyatt could be the next Undertaker with the Fiend, and then they ruined the Fiend.
He was right. He just WWE ruined it.
Yo, yeah, but I'm saying if he says it, who's to say goddamn WWE doesn't go and ruin Omos? And I'm with that because from the clip I saw last night, it looks like they're finally about to break him and AJ Styles up.
Let's go. I want AJ. Yeah, I want AJ for the champ, dog. AJ for a championship spot.
AJ needs one more championship before he retires. I can agree with that.
People always say,
but AJ's getting older though.
Yeah, that's why I want one more because I know that's it.
Matter of fact, I had AJ in a faction himself. It would have made another one. Right?
Well, they had him in a faction and then they fired the faction.
And they made all his faction members lose all the time. What's up with WWE making all faction members lose every time? Like Uso lose every match outside of the championship match.
The thing is, with WWE, if you came from a different promotion, you're getting jobbed out real quick. At least for a little while. You get to go to NXT and then you get to have a fun run in NXT and then you get to come to the main roster where Vince jobs you out like a goddamn street worker on a busy Friday.
Unless you exactly what Vince thinks you are, which unfortunately for Damian Priest.
And even then that could be bad. Because I'm wondering because Austin Theory, man, he's getting the Vince attention right now. And Austin Theory's another one. He could be a mega star if they do it right. Because he's good in the ring. He's good on the mic. He's got the look. He's also got the Vince seal of approval, so that could go either way.
Yo, Damian Priest hasn't been pinned in 28 matches.
Bro, Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned in 300 and something days. 400 and something days.
I already told y'all, Roman ain't getting his title touched until WrestleMania. I done told y'all that.
Bro, he is not losing that title until he breaks Brock Lesnar's streak. Yep. And because Brock Lesnar is the longest reigning Universal Champion with 503 days. And Roman is coming up on 460 or 470 days, somewhere in there.
It still crosses with WrestleMania. Fine, WrestleMania is until August.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He's not losing that time to WrestleMania.
They got to build somebody up before then, because WrestleMania is only a few months away, and you got to build somebody up credibly enough that you could believe taking the belt off of him.
They're just going to use the Royal Rumble.
To Montay's point on the roster, who could you think? Who could you honestly see in WWE today?
It's gonna be Rock or Drew. You know it's gonna be Drew or Rock.
Okay,
no, I'm saying you could cross that over because with the Royal Rumble, you could take somebody from Raw and just do it. Like they could just use the Royal Rumble and be done with it.
Oh, that Seth Rollins thing had me thinking the other day though when he came out in his intro, and the crowd reaction.
They just don't cross it over.
No, but we don't need. one of them's got to go face. If they were to do Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, somebody would have to make a face turn. And I feel like they are both doing some of the best work in their careers right now as heels. So keep them away from each other.
Vince,
in my opinion,
that song might be having Vince thinking otherwise because that crowd is really into that song. This Seth guy.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but
honestly, Seth Rollins is his guest. I don't really have a guess as to who, but they're gonna use the Royal Rumble to bring his, because like you can just give Big E Langston's like just somebody and build it up regularly and be fine with it.
Yeah, Roman.
Yeah,
if it's not
Big E's got it. I'm surprised he's still holding the title though, but they're setting him up. I don't know because it's they're looking at a 4-way coming up on day one. It's going to be Seth Rollins versus Big E versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley.
His new red shorts.
He won't lose it. He ain't gonna lose it.
Yo, Torrey, they hyping him up. He on ESPN every week. I done seen Big E on in every boxing event.
I'm actually thinking they're not gonna lose
they had
either
Big E
title
on the Breakfast Club. They had him on goddamn Ebro in the morning.
I'm like, yeah,
I'm actually thinking they're not gonna. I'm thinking they're not gonna take either title from them until both of them until WrestleMania. Actually, I know they're not gonna take Roman Reigns. I actually think they're not gonna take either one.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Big E.
They might give Kevin one
last run.
How do
you feel about this title run? Honestly, do you feel like this has been a good like?
If you include, are we just talking about on Raw? Or are we talking about everything?
No, because
it's a difference. If you talking about
Raw, I'm talking about just his run as WWE champion in general. Regardless of the show,
I think it's good. Big E's run is. But I think because
I feel like it.
I think he doing he promotion wise for the company. Like if I'm thinking from a business perspective.
Outside, I'm talking about match wise.
This ain't been. It ain't been. It's okay. It ain't been interesting.
It's serviceable.
That's what I was thinking. Like it's been all right, but he hasn't really had that match where you're like, oh my goodness.
Match was good, but it wasn't like it ain't. But
yeah, that match it was good, but it was we all knew what was going to happen.
But my thing about it is,
he's never been that kind of wrestler to me, though. But he's never been the kind that just blow me away with his wrestling.
The thing I talk about, he's successful though.
I don't.
The reason I say he's successful because all the outside stuff he do, he like a great promotion dude to have a belt on.
Yeah,
and go to
but
every
that don't mean you gotta put a belt on him. Because think Titus O'Neil, man. But he's done more. I think he's the most outreaching wrestler I've seen that's like publicly out. You know what I mean? He's got orphanages and schools opening.
I don't think people associate him though. That's my thing. Like if you see the belt with Big E at the Iowa football game, you be like, oh, WB champion. This dude is fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that in terms
I've never been the biggest Big E fan, but I think it's cool that we're giving all the New Day have now accomplished something. I mean, we got Kofi Mania, and Kofi got to be the champ, and then we had Big E. Big E gets to be the champ, and then Xavier Woods won King of the Ring. So it's.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I think King of the Ring is basically pointless.
Well, it is. It only meant something because he won it. Xavier Woods been trying to get there for 5 years.
It meant something personally to him just because he had the dream of a kid.
But honestly, I think King of the Ring just
he had to win it because it was pointless if anybody else won it. Because he been saying he wanted to be King of the Ring since he was a kid. At that point, it's like
you done gave his other 2 teammates something. Like you got to give him something worthwhile.
But he been wanting to be King of the Ring since he was a little kid.
Yeah, so. I agree. It was sort of they threw him the bone because let's be honest. If we're gonna be for real,
but it wasn't meant nothing to
Xavier
nobody.
Woods ain't never gonna get a heavyweight title run or a universal title run. It's not gonna happen.
My thing about that though is,
not right now. I'll say never, but not right now.
My thing about Xavier Woods is he wanted that since he was a teenager. He showed out on video, so that's the only reason it meant something. Because if anybody else wanted it, would be like, oh, okay.
No, I mean, I'm glad it meant something to him, but I'm with T-Ram. Like
it's really all in how you use it, though, because there have been some amazing, like the example everyone goes back to is Booker T. Booker T made the best out of King of the Ring out of anybody. I feel like.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like now, it's not worth nothing. Booker T used the King of the Ring and I actually made it to be like King Booker because they followed it up immediately with a heavyweight title run. Combine that with the fact that now all the other King of the Ring,
they did put the belt on Booker after he became King of the Ring.
Immediately after they made his whole persona built around being a king, and now every other King of the Ring person has held that whole I'm a king persona, but it's never amounted to an actual title run, so it doesn't mean anything.
They lose every match.
Yeah, so I'm like, it don't really mean anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad it meant something to him, but being a king of the ring don't mean crap.
In the grand scheme of things, it ain't mean nothing.
Yeah,
but I would prefer that. They're like, oh, you king of the ring. Now you can choose a title shot to get because you're king of the ring. Okay, now it means
Montay
something.
saying, "Well, I said in the first episode, make the Intercontinental title mean something."
Yeah, like, almost like if you being an X Division champion, you can be an X Division champion, or you can give this championship up to get a title shot for the big belt.
Shout out to X Claws.
Like that was saying, like if you had that at King of the Ring, you mean something now. But it don't mean nothing to be King of the Ring. It just Yeah,
because that's what they got Money in the Bank for, though.
But you can do multiple.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you though. Like the X Division Championship is like one of the best championships in all of wrestling to me because of that clause. Because you can be like a Money in the Bank,
cool.
And like
you can give up that was really innovative.
Like bigger stakes. That means more.
Bro, all you gotta do is say, hey, you get more money with this, because they see, like, why would you want this belt for no reason? Like, why did anybody want 24/7 belt? Nobody else get no money. You
that's
just
the thing, because back in the day, you made a lot more money if you were the champion. Like, if you go back and
just say it.
Look at the money like that Ric Flair made when he was the NWA champion back in the day, bro. Like, and you use the inflation calculator, bro, he was making so much more money than wrestlers signed to these contracts nowadays are making. It ain't even funny.
Yo, but before we get off, I want to say shout out to Corey J and all y'all haters who say y'all hated that ending, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Because you're a professional wrestler and you lose to a roll up. I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all making me suspend my disbelief. Why come everybody lose to a roll up? No, you know when you can lose to a roll up. It's the most
devastating move in all of professional wrestling. The surprise roll up.
You know when you lose to a roll up is when it's chaos. If I'm focused on you one-on-one, I know where you at. Well, if I'm in war games and somebody do their finishing, you can do a sneak roll-up and get a slick pin. It makes sense. I saw people arguing that I hate in these type of extreme matches you win by roll-up. That's the only time you should win by roll-up, because it's 50 things going around. If it's just me and you and I don't see you, I know a roll-up coming because you got to be behind me. Again, making me suspend my disbelief to the crazy.
Well, think about Liv Morgan and Becky last night. The surprise roll up with the rope hold, bro.
I hate surprise roll up. Bro, if it's just me and you in a match, how do I get surprised by a roll up? It's only two of us, dog. There ain't nobody else can surprise me. I know you in the ring.
It's either, bro. That's the thing. The WWE has burnt out the surprise roll up and the distraction, because as they've had it tallied this year so far, there have been almost 100 matches that ended by a distraction in the WWE.
Not including DQs. That was on purpose.
No, that's not. They did a tally on the disqualifications last year, and they had over 150, almost 200 disqualification finishes.
And that's how you don't get people over, even though you're trying to protect everybody. So
50-50 booking doesn't help anyone in the long term.
Yeah, just make everybody look weak. I'm sorry, the Attitude Era was amazing. I know y'all hate it because it was like 10 S-tier wrestlers and a bunch of D-tier. I mean, Montay always says a bunch of, no, it was 10. It was like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Rock, Stone Cold. Everybody else was basically jobbers, and they just whoop them.
Oh, you talking about like the singles? And the singles, yeah, but the thing about the Attitude Era that I loved it. Like, you had the singles convention that was dominated by those 10. Yeah, that was fine. But you also had the tag team division.
Oh, Vince don't care about tag team no more. That's you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. The tag team division of the Attitude Era had better stories than like the main singles division do now. Like,
bro,
that's how Vince don't care.
Never forget when the New Age Outlaws pushed Mick Foley and Terry Funk off the stage in that dumpster, bro.
Yeah,
that was an amazing time.
Crazy.
All right, we gotta get out of here. It's about almost an hour and 20 minutes. We can talk wrestling all day. But Corey J finish made sense because somebody got put in a crazy finishing move and she saw her and she only had one arm, so she took advantage, as you should, because it's smart. It's something different. And y'all
man out here putting his cape on for Corey J.
Yo, listen. it just makes sense because I'm tired of people complaining about stuff not being different in WWE, and when they do something different, you complain. Like,
well, the surprise roll up isn't different.
Well,
I get your
it
point.
Wasn't a surprise roll up though. It was just like, oh, somebody got put in the finishing move while everybody else is busy. Let me take this pin. It makes WWE don't really do that. That's rare. Like normally they'll do some move where Io Shirai jump off a thing in a trash can to match over. But
yeah, I love Io in a trash can
from
though.
the past. Right to Censor would be a S tier ranked faction now in the WWE.
Hey,
that's crazy.
Fun fact: every member of Right to Censor is currently in AEW, including what's her face?
Molly Holly.
Bring it back. Bring back the Right to Censor now. Do it now.
They got Joey Gacy now, and they ain't doing them right.
Like change the name from Right to Censor to Cancel Culture, and they would sell right now.
Joey Gacy, Joey Gacy, almost
because they've got CM Punk, they've got Luke Gallows, and they've got man. Why can't I ever remember?
No. I'm talking about Right to Censor from the Attitude Era.
He's talking about Stevie Richards. He's talking about Stevie Richards now.
You talking about the one? Like you said, CM Punk. You talking about the one where they all shaved their head and went to like the cult. You talking about that one?
That's what I was thinking.
He talking about Stevie Richards now.
Faction.
When every time somebody cuss,
I'm talking about Right to Censor with Stevie Richards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he go out there and every time somebody cuss, he try to he blow that little horn. When they cuss, he like
call them Cancel Culture and bring them back now. They would be hot.
They got Joey Gacy, so I want that. Tell her we were talking about that. That's what I want Joey Gacy to be. But they doing some weird stuff where he hug people. He could
be that.
They want him to hug people. And I'm like, no, stop people from doing violence. That's what we need.
By being violent.
Yes, just be like, you're going to stop punching people. And like, why is he here? And then he just, no violent shirts and stuff like that. Instead, he hugs people and do flips, and I'm confused.
That worked for me, though. I'm done.
All right, we out here. Montay, Torrey, in the last words. Plug. We got to get out here.
Okay, naturally, your boy, Mr. Bottom Merch himself.
Bottom Merch.
Representative of the Broke Ugly Dudes back again. Come find your boy on TikTok, Instagram. Monray Hudson is the name on both. Otherwise, Broke Ugly Dudes TV on the internet, on YouTube, and on all social media platforms. Come catch the crew and me included. Appreciate it.
Torrey.
You already know. AfroCommy765 on everything.
And that's the show for us. I know we doing stuff a little different, making things a little different. So we're gonna make these shows more where you can see the people that's talking, so you don't get confused or something.
Give you the variety.
Yeah, so
production value going up.
Yeah, so we doing different things. I know sometimes I mix it up because I was expecting 4 people, so sometimes I click that little left corner thing. But we good. And I appreciate y'all. Remember, keep stumping. Why? Because if you keep stumping, something good will happen.
Buy the merch.
Yeah, buy the merch.
Buy the merch.
Oh, we got 2 new shows coming. We got Keep It 99. We did our other live last week. I don't know what they would do. We'll discuss it in the comments. We got a new show on Overall 99 Content Channel and Overall 99 Sports. We have Monday Morning Quarterback coming back, and it's going to be a good time. We're doing Overall 99 Sports. So go join those channels. Hit that like button and subscribe if you don't care about nothing else but the sports topic. Me and Torrey might actually go start doing a wrestling show live. I got to talk to him about it after like SmackDown or something. Sure. So it's just not just a fan. We just talk about the show and discuss it. Tell us what we hate about everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna be JD NY 206. We hate everything. Everything WWE does is bad. Y'all like that, don't you? All right.
Yeah. Catering to the audience.
Peace.